So a subscriber asked me to calculate this one, arctangent of square root of 3 minus arcsecant of minus 2. So to solve this one, I will break down into two parts. So I will solve arcsecant of minus 2 because I think it's the easier one. And then I will solve the arctangent of square root of 3. So let's start solving it. So the arcsecant though, so the arcsecant is the inverse function of the secant. So I can write down, so it is equivalent to write like secant of, let's say here a, so secant of a is equal to minus 2, and the second function is the inverse function of the cosine. So we can write down like not the inverse function of the cosine, so it is like, so it's like this, so 1 over cosine of x. So it is minus 2, so we need to respect our writings, so it is cosine of a. So we need to solve the equation simply. So I'm gonna use a new page and solve our equation. So 1 over cosine of a is equal to minus 2. Right. So using our basic algebra things, so by multiplying cosine of a, we would get 1 is equal to minus 2 cosine of a, and then by multiplying by minus 1 over 2, we would get minus 1 over 2 is equal to cosine of a. And by applying the inverse function of the cosine, which is the arcsine, which is the arccosine. So by applying the function arccosine, let's write down just like this. So arccos. So we would get arccosine of 1 over 2 is equal to a. But what is the value of arccosine of minus 1 over 2? I assume that I don't know the value yet. So the best thing to do is to use the unit circle. So I'm going to use a new page to draw the unit circle and find the value. So here we have our unit circle. So this one, it is for the cosine and this is for the sine. And I will write down our angles just to make things clear. So we have pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3. And we know that in the angle of pi over 3 we have 1 over 2. So how we would get in here minus 1 over 2, because this is the negative side of the cosine. So we would rotate like some kind of a rotation from here all the way to here. So it's like we use the angle twice, so which is 2 pi over 3. Simple as it is. So just to write down the answer, so a is equal to arccosine of minus 1 over 2, and it is equal to 2 pi over 3. So just like this. And to write down the final answer, our formal final answer, so it is arcsecant of minus 2 is equal to 2 pi over 3, and we should remember this one. Then calculating the arc tangent of square root of 3. So we would do the same thing for the arcsecant. So we know it is the inverse function of the tangent, and the tangent is equal to sine of x over cosine of x. So we just do the same thing. So we write down again. So it is equivalent to tangent, let's say, so this is equal to b, for example. So tangent to b is equal to square root of 3. And then it is equivalent to write sine of b over cosine of b is equal to square root of 3. In my opinion, this is kind of a complicated way to solve if you use equations and using the algebra methods and applying functions. And I personally, this is a bad idea. We need to find the value of b. So to solve equations, we don't necessarily to use those type of things, as we call the algebraic methods. We just need to use unit circle again and visualize the numbers so we can get the answers. So here we go. I'm gonna draw the unit circle again. So just to make things clear and not use my previous one. So this again for the cosine, this is for the sine. And we have our angles. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. Alright, sorry for that, sorry. So we have this, and this is pi over 6, and this is pi over 4, and this is pi over 3. So here's the logic. We need to find b so that when we plug in, we would find square root of 3. So dividing some angles, so using some angle, so the sine of b over cosine of b is equal to square root of 3. Alright, so let's write down the values so we can understand more. So here for the cosine, we have square root of 3 over 2, and we have here square root of 2 over 2, and we have here 1 over 2. And this is basically the opposite, as if you can say that. So this is here square root of 3 over 2, and this is square root of 2 over 2, and this one is 1 over 2. So if we look at the answers, so if you look at the values, we can see here square root of 3 over 2, and here 1 over 2, because so this is for this angle, and for this angle we can see the same thing, square root of 3 over 2, and here 1 over 2. So we can say it's pretty much our clue to our answer. So as a start, I will try to use pi over 6 and see if it works. And then I will try pi over 3. So with pi over 6, if you plug in pi over 6, so we would get 1 over 2 over square root of 3 over 2. Alright, so we will try to compute it. So I'm going to try if b is equal to pi over 6. So sine pi over 6 over cosine 1 over 6 is equal to square root of 3. Is it equal to square root of 3? We don't know. So it is 1 over 2 over square root of 3 over 2. Is it equal to square root of 3? And we know that this one and that one cancel out, and we would get 1 over square root of 3, is it equal to, no, is it not equal to square root of 3? So it is false. So it must be pi over 2 is our final answer, because we got 1 over square root of 3 by plugging pi over 6. So if we plug the other angle, we would get the correct answer. But we would try it anyway, so you can understand more. So if you look at the unit circle again, we can see again that if we plug in pi over 3, so it's square root of 3 over 2 over 1 over 2. Alright, so let's plug in. So if b is equal to pi over 3, we would get sine of pi over 3 over cosine of pi over 3. Is it equal to square root of 3? So sine of pi over 3 is equal to square root of 3 over 2 over cosine of pi over 3 is equal to 1 over 2. And we write down, is it equal to square root of 3, obviously. And then by cancelling out, we would get square root of 3 is equal to square root of 3. And this one is true. So our angle B is equal to it is pi over 3. So to write down our formal final answer, arctangent of square root of 3 is equal to pi over 3. And we write that again, just not to forget, arcsec of minus 2 is equal to 2 pi over 3. So we have already the value, so we just need to use the operations. So we don't forget that we need to calculate arctangent of square root of 3 minus arcsec of minus 2. So the value of this one is pi over 3, and the value of this one is 2 pi over 3. So pi over 3 minus 2 pi over 3 is equal to minus pi over 3. And in case you didn't understand how we got the value, I'm gonna just write down real quick. So by factorizing pi over 3, we get 1 minus 2. And then 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So it is pi over 3 times minus 1, and it is equal to minus pi over 3. So this is if you didn't understand how, maybe if you got confused or something, I don't know. So thanks for watching, and this is it. So I'm gonna write down the final, just to be formal. So the arctangent of square root of 3 minus the arcsec of minus 2 is equal to minus pi over 3. Thanks for watching.